Jungle Deco is a short 3-episode OVA series that tells the story of the little girl Natsumi, who will get mystical powers by accident. Natsumi's father is an archaeologist that came back from an expedition in some ancient ruins on the middle of a jungle in an island, taking with him an idol that gives her. Placed in this idol are some earrings that immediately wears Natsumi, and when she sleeps in her dreams she gets to know the god Aham, who explains her who he is and gives her a collar that with a dance he teaches her, she can call his power to protect her. She also discovers that when taking off the earrings from the idol, she had broken the seal over the god of destruction Ongo, which appears in front of her looking like a little kid. After all of this, she will have to stop and control the damage made by these gods on Japan, with her powers when transforming herself into the sexy goddess Mi, with the dance she learned, which looks erotic. This girl, after all, is a magical girl, showing an erotic version of a transformation sequence, getting an identity with mystic or magical power, or targeted to a male audience, being very notorious the fan service. This is a series that takes the idea of the princesses from the fairy tales waiting for her prince with an uncommon twist. The protagonist, Utena Tenjo, is a girl that as a child she was rescued from drowning by a prince, so impressed by him she decides to become a prince. Then the story starts in the present time, with Utena wearing a rose ring that gave her the prince, and taking over her role of prince on Otoria Academy, wearing a uniform similar to the one of the boys, and becoming a student admired by all the girls. But when witnessing the abuse over Auntie Hinemiya by Sayonji and the humiliation of her friend Wakaba, she decides to confront him, reacting Sayonji with a challenge to her in Sword Duel in a secret dueling arena inside the academy. After this, Utena becomes a duelist, a member of a group that also have rose rings like hers that fight with swords in that arena to have control over Auntie, who is the key to get the power of the holy being, which they call Dios, a name that means God in Spanish. This mysterious power, as they say, is capable of making the world's revolution, so each duelist is interested in it to change the reality according to their circumstances, and in Utena's case, there's the possibility of finding her prince, who she was looking for since she was a child. This series is an uncommon case not only on the magical girl genre, but between many anime series, because its storytelling and aesthetics in theatrical style, highlighting in a very dramatic way the emotions in each situation, whether they are tragic, comic or romantic. These moments are spiced by choral music pieces and a very stylish character design by Shinya Hasegawa. Utena is to be considered a magical girl because despite all the dramatic and more mature context of the storytelling, she shows a transformation before each duel. She displays power when using her sword, and additionally, she has the monkey Chuchu as her companion. Besides this TV series, there's a movie that shows an alternative version of the story, taking advantage of the movie format. Based on a children's book, Yume no Krayo no Koku follows the adventures of Princess Silver, who has the problem of having 12 bad habits that annoys the people sometimes and get her in trouble. The story begins when Silver turns 12, and a great celebration in her honor is made on the Crayon Kingdom, attending a lot of young boys from many countries, whom they wish to be her couple on the dance. But she waits for her ideal prince for that dance. Then it appears without notice or invitation the Prince Cloud, who is there for another reason. So when showing himself in front of the royal family, he rejects and disdains the princess, when she offers him to dance with her, falling for him at first sight. Then the prince draws his sword and casts spells over the king and queen, petrifying them and running away after this. After happening this, Silver goes on a trip to search for Prince Cloud and the cure of that spell, accompanied by the pig Stone and the chicken Araesa, carrying with her a case from where she gets magical items that will help her, noticing a compact with 12 bottles from where many helpers come out. Each one has a special trait, like the smart one, strong one, witty one, etc., that will be helpful on each situation. As the adventure goes on, Silver gets to know that the Shinigami, a demon that was sealed in the past by her family, has escaped and was manipulating some persons to try to attack her parents, so she wondered if the prince cast that spell by his own will. This series, where being for kids, recreates a fantastic world where the inhabitants are majorly foods and vegetables, including her helpers, besides the classic talking animals. Silver is a minimal magical girl, because she uses less flashy magic that her case and her helpers give her, despite not having a transformation on a dollar identity with her cute looks. This is a series with short episodes that tell us the daily adventures of the little girl Potpourri, who just moved in near the commercial district of Nico Nico Ginza, where she frequently goes. Potpourri isn't a normal girl, and very curious that is always enthusiastic in everything she does. When she's getting to know the stores and its people, she ends up discovering the Fun Fun Pharmacy, of which she gets to know accidentally that its owner, Miss Fukiko, is a witch when watching amazing things inside. Then she meets her, and excited about this discovery, Potpourri asks her to teach her how to become a witch, discovering that she's gifted from magic, when being able to see and interact with the magic creators that are part of the nature. The magic in this series comes from the many creatures that come out in many ways from the nature, being able to color her own potpourri when receiving a vial in which she can mix ingredients given by Fukiko. These creatures, when being part of the nature, they are manifestations of natural phenomena and elements, calling potpourri some like wind, water, or other elementals. This series is very colorful, with a very nice design and fun and simple stories, where the most interesting part is the fascinating sense of discovery on each episode when following Potpourri in her adventures and her way to become a witch. As it has been seen in the 90s series, when diversifying and creating new ideas like mixing different genres elements, it appeared on common series, difficult to classify in only one genre. This is the case for Akihabara de Nogumi, that mixes in a futuristic environment with grouping heroines that transform themselves like magical girls. The story starts with Hibari Hana Koganei, a girl that just started middle high school. Because the electronic pets called Patapi are trendy, she wishes to get one despite her not having the money to buy it. The Patapi are capable of being trained and customized to work the way its owner wishes, limited to what, as small toys they are, can do. But one day on her way back home, Hibari is guided to meet with the prince that she was lately dreaming with, going to a tree on the top of a hill. But instead she sees a light coming from the sky, from where it comes down a Patapi for her. This Patapi is called Densuke by her, and soon she discovers that there are some people that wants to take it away from her by force, when being attacked by some women with artificial life forms and mechas. As consequence to these attacks, is awakened hidden powers in many Patapi, in addition to Densuke turning into the tender female androids with many offensive and defensive powers, which are called divas. So with their Patapi, their owners join, creating the Akihabara de Nogumi, composed in addition to the protagonist by her old friend Susume Sakura Yousui, the athletic Tsugumi Higashi Yuyo, and the greedy Kamome Sengakuji, to face these enemies that with their mecha they will become stronger along the Patapi. But behind these heroines and the villainesses there are characters that are manipulating and watching these battles for their own purposes, like Shooting Star and the principal of their school, Washu Ryugasaki, besides another ones. The magical girls elements show when having a team of teenage heroines that with their companion, similar to animals, they fight villains in each episode, transforming and using their special powers. It's interesting to note the graphical design in this series, both of the characters and the environment, very distinctive of Tsukasa Kotobuki, who is also known by the Saber Mario J series. After a long absence of Studio Pierrot in the 90s on the Magical Girls genre, they're back with a project based on two previous stories, Pastel Yumi and Fashion Nala. This is the story of Miho Shinohara, a normal 9-year-old girl that one day when going in a store, two stuffed animals decide to go with her. This gets her in trouble when the owner thinks that she was stealing them, but a mysterious man with a hat that she saw in her dreams helped her buying them for her. At her home she discovers that these animals that look like small long-eared white dinosaurs are actually alive, introducing themselves as Pigu and Mogu. They tell her that they can give her magic to use, gifting to Miho a sketchbook and a pen with a chain, both magical. The pen, when drawing over the sketchbook and saying the magic words, they allow her to make real the things that she draws there, making clothes for herself, but in a bigger size. But the biggest surprise is that she can use the pen on herself when wearing it on the neck, and saying another magic words that this time it makes her grow at the age of 18. This is how she uses these items to make her clothing every time she grows, having to change clothes before each transformation. Soon after, she gets lucky when being spotted by a talent agency, when they were desperately in need a model for a work, being recruited after this. Since then, Miho in her teenager identity chooses the name of Fancy Lala, becoming little by little an idol, changing from modeling to singing, becoming very popular in her debut, winning also the rivalry of another idol called Miki Yumeno. This is the way the story goes on, having to deal with Miho with the fact of living a double life, between her life as an elementary school student and her life as an idol, having to keep each of them in secret in each case. Something that a few times is mentioned on the series is that the magic that is used is based on the time, becoming more notorious when watching the pen that has a clock. The fact that Tigu and Mogu are dinosaurs, maybe that traveled in time. In addition that Miho remembers on her dreams a past life with her as a primitive child. This is the last original series from Studio Pierrot on the magical girl genre, closing their legacy on the genre, contributing with a story on the classic style that unfortunately wasn't very popular when it was overshadowed by the great success of Cardcaptor Sakura that was premiered a few days after.